Welcome back to the Present and Powerful podcast, the show where we explore the inspiring journeys of today's most successful entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Lyndsey Akers, and I am so thrilled to continue our ongoing guest episode series. In this series, we're pulling back the curtain and taking a look at the lives of extraordinary women who have not only built thriving businesses, but they're also doing so while raising their families. We'll hear their stories, learn from their experiences, and uncover the strategies and mindsets that have propelled them to where they are today. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered as we dive deep into the world of these exceptional entrepreneurs who are redefining what it means to be present and powerful in both business and family life. Today's guest is one many of you will recognize and continue to be inspired by. She set a goal in her business to become $1 million business in 2024, but she reached that milestone in just 7 months. Ashley Brock is a seasoned paid advertising expert with over a decade of experience managing over $200 million in ad spend for some of the world's most recognized brands, including Fortune 500 companies like California Closets, Dollar Tree, and Nut Pods. Having worked at 4 leading advertising agencies, Ashley is an expert in Google ads, YouTube ads, social media ads, and more. She's taught the skill of paid advertising to business owners worldwide, empowering hundreds of entrepreneurs and small business owners through her signature training program. She's a mom of 2 boys, a wife, and an encourager on a mission to help more business owners win with paid ads so they can win in every other area of their life. What an absolute honor it is to have Ashley Brock here with us today. She is a mom of 2, an ads expert. And you guys, when I tell you she is in the thick of insane momentum in her business, what a cusp that you're on in business. Ashley, I'm so pumped you're here. How's it going?
It's going good. I'm so thankful to be here.
It's just a whirlwind. The life and season that we're in as entrepreneurs and as moms to young children, this is a season of life where like messy action, C+, B+ effort, like that's just what you got to go with sometimes in order to get to that next season.
It is the like the whole, choose your hard. That's where I'm at right now. I'm choosing that. I would so much rather be in this place where the hard thing is that the business is growing so quickly and I got to keep up and like scale. And like scale a company. Like what? That is, and like balance being a good mom and a good wife. I'm trying to do it all
the things. That is the literal premise of this podcast. And it is to celebrate the hard. It is to celebrate the work. It's to celebrate the great things that you're doing, but also pull a layer back and say like, holy heck, this is really hard and it's not supposed to be easy, but this is what's worth it. And this is how it's going to transform my life on the other side. And what I learned from our communication prior to this moment that we're in is that you moved, you're in a challenge, you just got done with Summit, and like the offerings continue to offer. Like, Ashley, what in the world is going on?
Oh, I forgot to mention to you that I'm launching a book. So like, yeah.
I might have seen that in some of your stories.
Okay. Yeah. So like, no big deal. It's just been a wild few months, but yes, it is. It has been being okay with just taking any action, knowing that it doesn't have to be the perfect action. And that is the season that I am in. And yes, the house timing, did we plan to do all of this like at this time? No. But the opportunity arose and it was one of those things I felt like we were going to look back and regret if we didn't jump now. And here we are.
I love being able to start from the business journey so you can kind of peel back the curtain on where you began, because I understand that you worked for several very large, reputable ad agencies, and I have also worked in corporate settings and traditional employment, and it's such a massive shift in your life when you decide to leave what is typically a stable job, something you've worked really, really hard to achieve and be where you are, and then to turn into entrepreneurship and say, you know what, I'm going to carry my own flag. I'm going to build my own business. And that is no small feat. So can you kind of walk through where you were professionally, maybe in your motherhood journey? Had you had kids when you left corporate? When did that happen and how did we get here?
Yeah. So I had been doing advertising for probably like 8 or 9 years at the time. And when I decided I was going to like start my own business, and I was leaving I was pregnant with my second son, and I had a 4-month fully paid maternity leave from the advertising agency, mind you. And I go to my husband, I'm like, I think I should leave. And he's like, you're pregnant. He's like, you've got a fully paid maternity leave. And I was making 6 figures because I was really good at what I did, because I led the biggest accounts at the agency, or some of them. And so I told him, I was like, I'll always have a reason not to. And I actually, like, the reason I decided to start my own business was because I was managing an ad account that was spending like they were spending $100,000 per day on their ads. And that was a lot of pressure because I'm like, I feel like they wanted hourly updates. Like, I get it. If I was spending that much, I'd probably want some frequent updates, but like they weren't my only client. And so I felt like I couldn't leave my desk. I was pregnant and I was like chained to this with all this pressure on me, because when you're good at something, they put you on the best thing. But then when you're on the best thing, there's so much pressure. And I was just like doing math one day and I was like, wait, they're paying the agency how much? And like, I'm the one doing it. Like, one of my clients was paying the agency $100,000 a month for just me and one other person to manage it. I'm like, what if I took half of that? What if I took a quarter of that? What if I took a tenth of that? I was like, I could just go do this and make more. And that's what kind of led me to here.
Yeah. And so I think your oldest son is 4-ish. So this was in 2020, maybe 2022 if your son, if you were pregnant.
Yep.
Which is fascinating because whenever I left my corporate job, I just found out. I called my boss when I was 5 weeks pregnant. I had paid maternity, but it's this conviction in yourself where you're like, no, I can do this. It's going to be scary as hell, but we're going to do this.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Doing that with in general, but doing it with a family, insane conviction, and something that I'm sure you and your husband navigated together. But let's see, that was 2-3 years ago, maybe even less. Oh my gosh, Ashley.
Yeah, I've had my business for 2.5 years.
Okay. All right. So we've been in business for 2.5 years. There are various mindset shifts that happen at each and every stage. Can you kind of walk through where Ashley was 2 or 3 years ago, maybe some of those like defining moments, and where you are now?
I was pushing my oldest son in a stroller and I was listening to, it was a Rachel Hollis book, and it was like, Girl, Stop Apologizing. I remember her saying, in an arena, there's all these spectators, but there's only like one person in the arena at the time, on a stage, on a concert. She's like, everybody out here has an opinion, but like, there's just one person in the arena doing the work. And I remember like having a moment. I'm like, I'm supposed to be in the arena. And like, I heard her talk about how she had this sentence. She was like, I only fly first class. I was like, what? Who does that? Like, I only want to fly first class, but like only bajillionaires pay for first class flight tickets. And she was just talking about belief in yourself. And I didn't know an entrepreneur growing up. I didn't have anybody in my family that owned a business. Like, money was like something that you earned like over a long time. Like, it takes a long time to make a lot of money, and you make a little bit more year after year after year. You're constantly working. And I just thought, is there really a world in which she has her own business, she writes books, she travels the world, she flies first class, and she's like changing people's lives? Like, she's changing mine. Like, she's doing good work and she's a mom. Like, can I do that? Like, I remember having that moment. And so that book changed my life, because I immediately started like thinking, I wonder if I could just teach what I'm good at, which is ads. That was the beginning.
And this may be just my opinion, but like, it's one thing to like have a salary and bring money in and like feel good about that. It's another thing to be compensated for your expertise and how you lead people to the solution that you offer, which I imagine and maybe Ashley, can you talk about like what your first offer was? Was it one-on-one services, done for you services? Like, how did you start?
Yeah, so I did start doing ads for people. So because I had worked at the agency for so long, I had been teaching behind the scenes for a couple of years. So I'd like go to work and I would drive an hour in traffic just to go 3 miles. And I would land at Pond City Market in Atlanta, and I would teach for an hour at like 8 o'clock at night. And then I would drive home, and I was like, okay, teaching is fun. And then from that, people started asking me like, hey, Ashley, can you teach me? And I was like, what? No, I'm working full time and I'm teaching. They're like, but I'll pay you this. And I was like, stop the front door. Like, when do you want to sign up? Like, okay, I'll teach you. And so it kind of evolved to maybe there is something here. And so what I started doing was actually doing ads for people. I left my full-time job and I said, I'm just going to get a few clients, like bigger companies that are spending a good amount on ads, and start there. And so I started by contracting. And then what I found is every company I was meeting with ads, they were all saying the same thing. Like, this is my challenge. And one person, Lyndsey, one day said, if you repeat it, record it. And I was done. I was like, I am saying the same thing to these same business owners. They think they're a unicorn and they're not. They don't know it. And so that's what led to going from doing ads for people to actually saying, I'm going to teach people how to do this thing that I'm saying on repeat over and over and over again.
Yeah, I imagine a lot has transpired since, the very beginning of your business, what you were doing before, how you were offering done for you services, and where you are now. And frankly, whoever's watching, if you're not following Ashley, go ahead and follow her story. It is how I've become so, like, we're besties. She is just now realizing this.
You are so cool.
But what an absolute insane whirlwind of where you started, where you are. Because let me tell you, if I am outside looking in as someone who's on social media and I look at the things that you're doing, you have group programs, you had at least one or two masterminds, you've had the summit, you're launching a book, all of these things. And like the number of people that I saw on your team at the summit from social media, that kind of makes my head spin. Like how in the world are you building your team, delegating and scaling to where you are today and keeping your sanity?
Well, I think the sanity thing is arguable, but I will tell you, I think this helped me when I became a mom, is I used to like want to prove everybody, especially my mother-in-law, that like I could do everything. I'm like, I can cook, I can clean, I can feed him, I can do it all. And it just took a certain level of humility to be like, I literally cannot do this on my own. And I could not grow my business on my own. I had become findable. That's what I teach. I'm really good people finding me. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have to hire, we have to delegate. And as someone who's a recovering like control freak, like I want to control everything. Like, yeah, he's raising your hand too. I get it. If you're listening to this and you feel like you have control and you're like, nobody cares like I do, I promise you, I am that person and I was wrong. And so I very quickly was like, okay, I need help with this. I need help with this. And I really had to focus on the three things that I should be doing in my business. The three things I should be doing is selling, creating content, and coaching. Like I need to be teaching and coaching, which is what I do, creating content to grow what I do, and having sales conversations because I enjoy it and I want to make sure that the people I work with are the right people. And so I read this book, okay, it's called 10X is Easier Than 2X. And it says that the way Michelangelo created David was what he did was he chipped away, he took a piece of marble and then he chipped away, and what he did is he chipped away everything that was not David. And he was left with David. So now my team and I, what we say is that is not David, like everything that's not David, because I can get sidetracked and be like, well, let me do this. What if I, and it's like, no, you do these few things. So it just took being humble and being, honestly, if I'm being honest, Lyndsey, I was so scared to like pay for things. I was like, I want to keep that money. I want to keep the profit. Like if I start paying, then I'm going to lose all the money and I'm going to be able to grow. And it is the absolute opposite. By letting go of the money, by paying, by delegating, I had more space to create more revenue in my business, and people wait too late to delegate.
Heard big time. Absolutely. First of all, the 10X is easier than 2X. That's my next book. It's on my nightstand right now. The delegation part of this is so scary. And there are a couple of conversations that I want to like have as part of what you just said. But can you talk about the size of your like core team and maybe how you have helped them thrive in your business?
Yeah. So I have 2 full-time teammates and then 3 part-time teammates. 2 full-time, 3 part-time. I have 2 that are consulting 1099 contractors. So my CFO and my COO are both outsourced. Like we help each other actually. And then I have like other people in my life that help with childcare, and like my mom is here right now. She's like helping with laundry. Like I pay her. She's on payroll. Like I have other people that I pay to help me like get through the day, whether that's food, whether that's all these things, because there's just no way that one woman can do it. And so behind the scenes, there's an entire army that is helping make this dream come true.
It's so hard because you want to find the right person. You want to give them the right onboarding, the right duty, like jobs, or like how to outsource those things, and also ensure that they're fulfilled while operating with that same mentality of, you know, the vision of your business and what it is that you're trying to achieve, and give them a portion of that like ownership, not only in the task, but achieving that vision.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
Let's shift a little bit to 2024. You set the goal to reach $1 million in 2024, and it's July, and it's like waterworks. That's like a defining moment that I so remember. And that was only July out of what I'm sure was a 12-month plan. So $1 million in 1 year. But is there an update to this milestone? Because what I saw is that we have now reached $1 million in a day. Am I crazy?
No, that's fact.
Okay. You want to, can you talk about that? Tell the people.
Yeah. So I did over $1 million in less than 24 hours. So it still feels weird to say out loud. I'm going to be honest. Like I'm still not used to it. So my eyes are still big too. But like at the same time, that is what I teach. I teach do the thing and before you're ready. I teach run the ads, fill the room of the right people. And then I teach that you teach people how to treat you. And so I taught them to anticipate. I hosted my summit. So I ran ads to my summit and I made the investment. I spent over 6 figures in ads. I spent over 6 figures in the team and the event venue. It's like I put the money forward without the guarantee that the money would come. But that is the way to get a different result, is to like anticipate it's going to come even though you don't see it. So I did what I taught. I do ads. I built the airplane while I was in the air. I made the investment and I added a bunch of value to the room. And as a result, I was able to have a greater than $1 million day.
Congrats. That's insane.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very, very grateful. And the craziest thing of all is like, I truly know in my heart that like, it is just the beginning.
And it feels like that. It feels like it's just beginning. I mean, again, you've done this all well within 5 years.
Yeah.
You're launching a book. The momentum is like, it's happening. And I think one of the things that is important to highlight for people, no matter what stage you're at business, but if you're not aware of how a P&L works, there is revenue, and then there is expenses, and then there is your net.
Correct.
So for the people who think that Ashley is bringing in $1 million a day and buying her new home outright and like then getting the G-Wagon, like, unless you would like to correct me, that's probably not what's going on. But can you share how you compensate yourself and balance the expenses with the income, but also like honoring the work that you're putting in?
The whole point of creating a business is so that it can benefit someone else's life and so the business can be profitable so that you and your family can live the life that you created your business for. And so the way that I approach it is I have like this rep. So I told you we probably spent about $250,000 on the event and we did greater than $1 million. So let's just round and just say it was $1 million. That is $800,000 in profit. Well, for the team that I have, for the book launch party that I'm hosting, for the in-person masterminds that I'm hosting, for the advertising that I pay for the investing, like taking all the things that have to happen, all the expenses, all the investments, then you're left over with money. Well, the cool thing is, in a way, I was able to cover my expenses for the year in 1 month. The rest of the year, I'm going to be honest, it is profit. It is going to be amazing. And so being able to say what I'm not going to do is like take all, and here's the other thing I want to tell you. I sold $1 million in a day. I did not collect $1 million in cash in a day. So what I'm not going to do is go spend money that hasn't come to and hit the bank yet. You know what I mean? So like I have sold a certain amount, but what I'm going to do is take the rest of the year to take this profit of the company, continue to pay my team well, continue to invest in scaling the company. And then at the very end, when we look at everything, I'll have tax bill. Lord, I'll tell you what, you make a lot of money, you pay a lot of taxes. I'm going to either pay a lot of money in taxes or figure out ways to reduce my tax liability by taking that money and investing in other business investments. Like there's so much that has to happen. And then at the end, there will be some profit left over, Lord willing, which there should be because we're quite a profitable business. That is when I will like set an amount and I'm like, that is coming into my family. Like that is the goal. Bless my people, bless my clients, bless my team, take care of everything else, and then give to the Lord, save, live on the rest. That is what we're doing. And I know profit will be there.
That 2-minute spiel, there are mindset wins. There is hard-fought mindset, like strategic financial planning advice, hard truth. What a gift it is to be able to look at the rest of your year and know that it is going back to pour into exactly what you started your business for. Your husband, your children, yourself, your community, your faith. And no small feat, ma'am. No small feat. One of the things that I wanted to also touch on is there are a lot of wins coming your way. And they have been hard fought, but I'm curious how you navigate any disappointments or disruptions that maybe you didn't plan for.
100%. When you see something, when you see a rocket ship, for sure there's some stuff that went on for that rocket ship to be firing. And I will tell you, I have experienced so many challenging things. And you look at everybody and you're like, sure. Like nobody knows everybody's story. That's for dang sure. And my business wouldn't have started if I hadn't gone through something extremely hard before it began. Because your roots, a tree can only grow as tall as those roots grow deep. The roots are in there. And they're not everybody's business or everybody's story. But what I do know is that I don't know a single successful business owner that has not gone through some trial and tribulation. And the way that I truly believe that I and anyone that I work with, the way that you can really win in tribulation is to, let's first of all, like anticipate that hard things are going to happen. When our expectations are disrupted and we're like, I can't believe this bad thing is happening. Can you believe my car broke down? Can you believe that we forgot to pay this bill? Can you believe that the grandma's sick and he's sick and like the daycare shut down? Can you believe? It's like when you're so surprised, that's what frustrates you. I literally anticipate that there's going to be challenges. I'm like, something's going to break, something's going to be wrong. I anticipate it so that I am not disappointed. And then when I do, I have pre-decided how I'm going to think about hard things that happen to me because I'm so used to them happening. I'm like, I have to have a plan for this. And if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So I'm going to plan. I'm going to like have a plan for when things go wrong. And that plan is that this is going to work on me so that I can become a better, stronger person. And I'm either going to learn from it or I'm going to earn from it. And both are good.
I love it so much. And I'm so proud. I appreciate that you said like what we go through in life, and that is not everyone's business, but it certainly does not paint a picture that life and business are happening without those trials and tribulations. But knowing how to respond to the things that are either within your control or not within your control is so essential to business longevity and sustainability if you want to continue succeeding and growing and thriving. Before we move on to the personal side of, you know, how you navigate life as a mom of two sweet, precious little boys, can you tell me what you're most excited about in business in 2025 and beyond?
I'm most excited about watching my team grow, like watching them. It's like so joyful for me, but like just seeing where we land at the end of the year. I can't wait to see what I learn. I can't wait to see how they grow. And I cannot wait to see like this dream continue to come into fruition. So I'm just hopeful and excited and anticipatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where Ashley Brock and her team is in 2025, 2026 and beyond, because I do believe that you guys are just getting started.
Me too.
So Ashley, you have built a business while you were pregnant, nursing babies. I have to imagine so much of this comes along with setting really clear boundaries and expectations for yourself and your family. Can you share any of those with us?
I'll be honest, that's like my biggest area of opportunity. And I've done a lot better in 2025 so far, but like I love my work so much that sometimes I never stop it. And that comes at the cost of my husband being like, hello, I'm still here. And I'm like, okay, what we can't do is like neglect the very people that we're creating this business for in the first place. So I am so self-aware of that. Sometimes I'm not great at time management, but what I have been able to do is say like, this is my work time and this is my mom time and my wife time. And so my husband and I are working on, I mean, we've done it pretty good, but we're going on a date, like our date night this week is Saturday. Like every single week we're getting a night together. And then I am really working on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, not, especially Saturday and Sunday, not being on my phone. That's helpful. Like I don't respond to client voice memos or anything like that on the weekends. So just setting some boundaries on like at this time at night and on this time on the weekends, I am in mom mode, and like knowing that the work will be there. And if someone has an issue with me being a mom, then I'm just like becoming okay with that because I'm not perfect at it. But what I am like self-aware of is like the whole reason I'm doing all this is because I love what I do. And like, I love the people I get to do life with which is my husband and kids. So I'm working on being better at like having a balance and just being all in on them on the weekends. Cause that's what I want to be, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And I saw from social media that your husband joined you guys on stage at the summit. So it's very evident that business is part of your family is part of your business. Maritally, like, how can you guys make sure you're on the same page with tempo and finances and things like that? Like, how do you navigate that?
When we just get time to connect, like we really can connect so deeply and so well, is simply just making time for it. We just have to put it on the calendar. Like we put date night on the calendar. We've got to put a few more like me and him trips on the calendar, but we just like make sure to prioritize us. And my goal for this year is that I plan everything else with my family and my husband first, and then all the business stuff comes into play. Show me your calendar. I'll show you your priorities. That's for sure.
For sure. I love that. And we'll be putting a trip on my calendar as well at some point in time that is not business related. I think it's so easy to like get excited about the conference and the speaking opportunity and the this and that when you're also looking forward to that. So rearranging that priority, super, super key.
Totally.
One of the other things that I think is really evident in how you operate as a leader, as a person, as a mom, as a business owner is how faith plays into literally your life. And again, I saw on stories you praying with Emily before her session at your summit, and it was like truly meaningful and captivating. So I'm curious if you would like to speak to that at all.
Wouldn't be here if it weren't for God. Like that's all there is to it. So, I mean, I can't not be who I am. And what I don't do is judge people based on what they believe or don't believe. But what I do prioritize is like sharing that, like before I got on my challenge today, Like I went outside and I prayed. I was like, I won't say the perfect thing, but like, let me say what you would have me say, you know? So like, I know that every good thing is from him. And so that's just like part of who I am. It's like a non-negotiable for me.
I think there are going to be a lot of tears on this like podcast because business is not just business. This is so personal. And it is not just a transaction. It means so much more than that. While we're on this level of our discussion, I figured I would share with you how impactful your visibility is to people like me, because I'll tell you, I learned about you through the Sales Girls. I mean, we all love Kat and Macy, incredible people. They have fostered such a powerful community. And I followed them for years, 4 years, before I ever joined one of their challenges or did anything. So I joined the one in August and I went through the challenge, and then, they get to the place where they have the offer to move on to the different programming, and I couldn't commit to it. But in my application, I said, I want to be the next Ashley Brock.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't say that because I have the aspiration of making $1 million in a day yet, but I think it speaks to the impact that you have on women to show up joyfully, to put big dreams out there, to show up for your family, to live authentically and chase really, really big dreams. And so I wanted to share that with you because I talked with Kat about it a little bit, but I don't know if that ever made it to your way. But people...
I knew someone said that. I didn't know.
It was me. Yeah. And so I say all that, like, just to reinforce the impact that you have for women who want to be in your position, moms who can be the mom that they want to be to build a life professionally or entrepreneurially that is meaningful to them, and do so in an aligned way that feels good and right for them and what's in the best interest of their family. So before we depart, I'm curious if you had any advice that you could give someone who aspires to be where you are. What would you share with them?
I would share with them to be okay being your own biggest cheerleader for a while, and to get as uncomfortable as you possibly can. And what I really mean by that is like, make the investment in yourself, get in rooms that you feel you don't belong in, be okay not being the smartest person in the room, like do something different, get a different result, and then be your own biggest cheerleader on the way, because your friends and your family, they may love you and they also may not be on the same page at the beginning. So you being able to like toot your own horn, be like, it's okay, keep going, I know nobody's here, but somebody's gonna get on this train eventually, like be that person for you, and then eventually everybody else will get on board. But just like do the different thing and just anticipate that it's gonna work, and anticipate it's gonna be hard, and anticipate it's gonna be worth it.
Is one of the biggest blessing and curses in this part of business ownership and entrepreneurship, and stepping into being findable, to being known for what it is that you are putting yourself out there for. And I think it's really empowering to know that you are helping people do that in both their business and their life. So I'm just really dang excited that we got to meet in real life and not just me looking at social media, and being able to learn more about your story and continue seeing all the incredible things that are going to happen for you in 2025 and beyond. So I'm just honored and really excited to meet you and rooting for you so hard.
Lyndsey, thank you so much. That like means so much to me, and I appreciate you and all that you're doing to grow your business. And I know that like it's all going to pay off. It all will. Yeah.
It sure will. It sure will. Until then, where can people find you? How should people follow more along your journey?
Yeah. So, I mean, Ads with Ashley on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel as well. You can join the 309 people that are on there if you prefer video. We're growing slow, but yeah, so Ads with Ashley would be great. And yeah, there's lots of good things coming.
Thank you again, Ashley.